Santorini is the quintessential cruise port for a Greek island cruise. But when researching this destination, every single YouTuber gave us the same bad advice about navigating the crowds of tourists. Those were lies. Whether you are cruising with Virgin Voyages or any cruise line, we'll give you the right tips to choose a successful excursion.
Welcome to Santorini. Basically, when you get to Santorini, there are two ports for tenders to end up in. There's the basically what I'll call the finicular port, which is the one that goes straight up to Fira, where you can either take the finicular, or you can walk, or you can climb on a donkey. When everybody says it's really busy in Santorini, they're talking about that port specifically. There is another tender port, which I'll call the bus port. It's a little bit further down the way to the right, so it's a little bit further away from where the cruise ship itself docks, but you don't have to mess with the crowd lining up to go into the funicular. You certainly don't have to ride on any donkeys, and it's much more direct. So when I say port, obviously the port is Santorini. It's just there's two different tender destinations. We have chosen to do the afternoon shore excursion, also known as Shore Things here on Virgin Voyages, which is Ia on your own and 2 wineries. And here's the reason we picked this. First off, if you take the one in the afternoon, you are getting transportation both before and after through what I'll call the bus tender port. So when you're choosing different shore excursions or shore things here on Virgin Voyages, you want to pay particular attention to whether they are sending you there to go deal with getting up yourself, up into Fira, or whether they're going to take you to the bus port where you just go in or out or both on a bus. And so we didn't want to mess with any of that. And so we chose this one specifically because we knew we'd be able to get over there by virtue of taking the one in the afternoon. If you take the one in the morning, you only get to go through that port one of the 2 ways in the morning, and then they drop you off. They don't take you right back here for your return to the ship.
There is a second major crowd factor to consider when booking your excursion, which Nick will explain. But first, let's board the bus and head to some wineries. Santo Wines. Virgin Voyages does change the details and names of their shore things from time to time, but the winery experience we had here was beautiful. We highly recommend an excursion that includes some version of this.
Santo Wines is one of the oldest and the biggest winery of the island.
They were delicious, but you don't have to drink them all. We especially enjoyed the snacky bits and popped into the gift shop, but the unmatched views here were the biggest selling point. Back to the bus. I have to hold on to my hat so I don't lose it. Our chariot awaits to carry us to the second winery. I loved learning about the agriculture and development on the island and some of the challenges that the locals face. Plus, these excursions help you make friends with your fellow sailors. We loved seeing these new acquaintances around the ship throughout our sailing.
The other thing, and part of the reason why we chose this one, the afternoon session, is that frequently people are saying, okay, you want to be the first person off the ship in Santorini. And if you can be the literal first people off and then use that to take the funicular up, not a bad situation, but you still have to get back down using the funicular. And lines for that can be up to 2 hours long sometimes. So also, everybody's listening to everybody else and saying, I want to be the first one off the ship. So everyone's crowding on to do this. And you may not even be the first ship into port. Today that we're here, we're seeing that there's at least 4 ships in port. Based on when they head back out is when there's going to be a lot of traffic coming back down. Our hope is that when we actually get where we're going, that the crowds have started to thin down a little bit.
And lastly, the bus dropped us in Ia.
These guys are all waiting for the public bus. The signage for today said that the MSC bus had to be back out of Ia at 3, and the Viva and us had their last bus was at 5, which means everyone is leaving right now, and we'll be the only ones. We'll get to have the whole place to ourselves.
Ia is the most popular town that you envision when you think of the blue roofs of Santorini. Because Virgin Voyages tends to stay in port later than most other cruise lines, and we were on the later Excursion, the crowds were dying down and we got to enjoy it with less people and less heat in the late afternoon. Let's go find that perfect photo stop.
So from the square, you go to the end of the square away from the church and take a right. And about 50 meters, you'll get to the second church that has the blue dome right here. And you take a left, and right down this stairway, you think you're going into someone's house. And I think actually it dead ends into a very tiny hotel. But there's the perfect lookout point with the blue domes. And when we were there was a line, but it wasn't too bad and got great pictures. Do some shopping. You want to shop?
Even if you aren't souvenir shopping, these were some lovely streets to wander.
Would you say that it's touristy?
A little, but not in a plaka kind of way.
Right. There are plenty of trinket shops, but there are also some real artisans or some folks who have curated a really nice collection of souvenirs with some quality to them to remember your time in Greece. Our tour guide did say to be very careful because this is a hot spot to watch your bag.
Then the bus brought us back down to meet the tender. Better than some other modes of transportation. Hee-haw! But beware, those roads are windy. We weren't nervous that the ship would leave us because we were on an official Virgin Voyages excursion.
That worked out perfectly.
I think we're literally the last tender back to the ship.
The last tender.
But not in a way that's like scary, just in a way that means it's nice and empty, and we got to see it. Yeah.
Someone with a watch there.
This was a perfect stop on our Resilient Lady Greek Isle Glow sailing, and I can't wait to see you what the other ports like Mykonos and Rhodes held. I hope you'll subscribe and join us for those and for the other adventures we have around the ship. We'll see you there, travelers!